is the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast.
Hello and welcome to the first Celebrity Afterlife Report for 2015. I am your host, the Celebrity Medium. Hope your holidays were good. We're great. A lot has transpired in the next world since I last reported to you, so let's get right to it. Long-time listeners to the report know the ongoing Andy Kaufman story, but for those new to the podcast, allow me to give you a brief recap. In the afterlife, Elvis Presley was still hounded by his fans, so much so that he went into hiding in disguise for a time. Eventually, though, the paparazzi penetrated the disguise, including the shaved head he had adopted, and printed pictures of him, causing him to be followed everywhere he went by rabid Presleyites again. Not wanting to perform anymore, but also wanting to give his fans something, Elvis recruited longtime fan of the King, Andy Kaufman, to tour in his place as Elvis Two. That might have gone well, if not for Andy's insistence that his doppelgänger, Tony Clifton, be the opening act at all concerts. Clifton was so obnoxious that audiences were booing him and calling for him to leave the stage. The real Presley reportedly asked Andy to calm Clifton down, which only caused Tony to berate Andy and Elvis on stage nightly. Alright, now you're up to speed about what's been happening up to this point. In the most recent turn of events, Kaufman has been defending Clifton in interviews, saying that Elvis and the audiences have been overreacting to Tony's shenanigans. Presley, for his part, has been replying that his fans should have what they want from one of his sponsored shows, and if that means no Clifton, then so be it. As if all that isn't strange enough, now Kaufman has challenged Elvis to a wrestling match on Afterlife television to settle the argument. If Kaufman wins, Clifton gets to stay on as Elvis 2's opening act. If Elvis wins, Clifton agrees never to perform in public again. Now, you may be shaking your head at this point, but this will put you into a spin. Elvis has accepted the challenge. The date and location of the wrestling match have yet to be set, but it actually looks as if this is going to happen. Many in the next world are wondering if this is legit, or if this is Kaufman's best prank of all time. Stay tuned. Actress Donna Douglas transitioned to the afterlife on New Year's Day, although she appeared in dozens of television shows in smaller parts and played the female lead opposite the aforementioned Elvis Presley in a movie. She is best known as Ellie May Clampett from the Beverly Hillbillies. Although after the show went off the air, she went on to become a book author and gospel performer, she was never quite able to shake off the Ellie May character in the eyes of Hollywood producers. When she arrived in the next world the other day, in addition to James Brown, the unofficial greeter to the stars, waiting for her in the crowd was Buddy Ebsen, who played her father, Jed Clampett, on the Beverly Hillbillies. My Afterlife paparazzi sources tell me that Ebsen had tears in his eyes as he gave her a big hug and kiss and greeting her to her new life. When the happy reunion was over, my source approached Donna and asked her if she had any plans for her future. She asked him if there was any acting work available in the next world. When he told her that yes, there is, she asked how she could get in touch with Marilyn Monroe. Now, as it turns out, the contact is a friend of Monroe, who longtime listeners to this podcast know is currently engaged to pop artist Andy Warhol. He arranged a meeting between the two actresses, which he was able to tag along for. I'm told that Douglas told Marilyn that she has always been a huge fan of hers, and that she would like Monroe's permission to play her in a movie about her life. Marilyn seemed amused by the idea and said she would give her permission if they could find a producer interested in it. Monroe said she would contact some people she knows to see if they want to help with the project. Before the holiday break, I reported that Richard Kiel, the giant actor who played the villain Jaws in 2 James Bond movies, had also transitioned to the afterlife. At the time, Kiel confessed that he always had wanted to play Santa Claus when he was on the earthly plane, but never got the opportunity. I can now tell you that Kiel finally got his wish, but things didn't turn out exactly like he would have wanted. After hearing Richard's story, R.H. Macy, the founder of the Earthly Plane department store chain that bears his name, and the CEO of a similar company in the next world, decided to grant his wish by hiring Kiel to portray the jolly old elf at his flagship store. Kiel was delighted at the opportunity, but things quickly went sour his first day on the job. It seems that many children were frightened by his enormous size and the giant head underneath the Santa beard. I'm informed by my source that his booming voice was also intimidating to the kids. Mr. Macy had to tell Kiel that things weren't working out, and reluctantly the giant agreed and handed in his red suit. Kiel told the reporter that while he's sorry things didn't go well, he mostly just regrets scaring the kids. Lastly, Mario Cuomo, former governor of New York State, transitioned to the afterlife the other day after also being greeted by James Brown. One of the well-wishers on hand to welcome him asked him what he was planning on doing from now on. The governor replied he would like to return to public service. The well-wisher had to gently inform Cuomo that there is no formal government in the next world, so there are no offices to run for. Cuomo seemed taken aback by that, then said he would like to work to eradicate poverty. When he was told there is no poverty in his new existence, the governor laughed and said, "I guess I'll just lie on the beach then." There is a beach, right? Yes, Governor, there are beaches in the afterlife. Enjoy the sun. Okay, that's it for the first Celebrity Afterlife Report for this new year of 2015. I will be back next week with more stories about all your favorite deceased celebs. I am the Celebrity Medium. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast. To ask a question about your favorite deceased celebrity, call 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-369-3732.